Thank you for joining the Performance Management Seminars, where we tackle tough issues in performance management. My name is Victor Holman, and I'm the CEO of Lifecycle Performance Professionals. Today, we're going to discuss the Lifecycle Performance Framework, which is the backbone of lifecycle performance management. We're going to discuss this concept, and we're going to discuss the 5 phases, and we're going to discuss how the Lifecycle Performance Framework can transform your organization to a high-performing organization. How many times have you been part of a performance initiative that started off with momentum, you saw some performance gains, only to have that momentum fizzle out and for performance to plateau? Or how many times have you had a successful initiative only to have to answer that question, what's next? Well, according to a survey, there are 6 reasons why performance initiatives fail. Among them are insufficient business intelligence tools, poor planning or follow-up, lack of stakeholder buy-in, ineffective measurements or metrics, and failure to adopt best practices. But the number one reason why performance initiatives fail is a lack of an effective framework. See, the truth is, most organizations are aware of the value of performance management, and most organizations have some performance management processes in place. But the problem is, they don't have an effective framework that's designed to drive continuous improvement, to align performance to organizational objectives, and to drive decision making. Well, that's where the Lifecycle Performance Framework comes in. So, what is the Lifecycle Performance Framework? The Lifecycle Performance Framework is a group of performance-related processes and methodologies sequenced and integrated to effectively raise organizational awareness of performance management and to simplify the execution of performance management best practices throughout the performance lifecycle. The Lifecycle Performance Framework consists of 5 phases: the defining, planning, executing, monitoring, and reporting. Now let's take a moment to discuss each phase. The first phase, the defining phase, is where the preliminary management processes are performed. These preliminary processes are those outside of traditional performance management, but which are critical to the success of your performance management initiative. They include mission objective identification, strategic planning, performance scope development, and performance team development. In other words, the defining phase processes are the executive processes that don't necessarily include participation from all levels within the organization. The best practices associated with the defining phase, and we'll go over these best practices in more details in later seminars, but the best practices associated with the defining phase are organizational goals and mission management, performance scope management, vendor performance management, vendor standardization, organizational stability, and IT cost management. The second phase in the Lifecycle Performance Framework is the planning phase. Now, the focus of the planning phase is to start the buzz and get your organization prepared for cultural changes that take place during your successful performance initiative. This is the phase where you begin employee acceptance into the performance initiative, and you put employees in a high performance mindset. It also includes baselining current performance and setting future goals, breaking down functional silos, identifying key processes that drive business success, and ensuring a successful performance management implementation through training. The best practices associated with the planning phase are employee acceptance management, performance management planning, time management, which is time spent planning versus the time you spent implementing, leadership development, employee training, staff motivation, automated asset management, system scalability, capacity planning, enterprise policy management, and IS training. As you can see, there are several best practices that are covered during the planning phase. The third phase is the executing phase. Now, the executing phase involves implementing the planned activities outlined in the defining and planning phases. This is where we develop metrics, align performance to organizational objectives, identify cross-functional processes, and then we integrate that data. During the execution phase, the The performance management team must maintain a climate of open communication with business unit liaisons and executive management, as this is where executive goals are transformed into action. Now, the best practices associated with the executing phase are employee performance management, information services performance management, process management, data integration management, performance metrics management, performance alignment management, cross-functional process management, systems management, change management, and procurement management. Again, the executing phase has several best practices which enable you to have a successful performance initiative. The fourth phase in the Lifecycle Performance Framework is the monitoring phase. The monitoring phase is where performance is actually tracked. This phase involves ensuring the key indicators and thresholds are in acceptable ranges and enforcing quality characteristics. This is where you develop your quality management plan, you identify data quality metrics, and you examine information supply chains and improve processes. Now, there are only 3 best practices associated with this phase, and they are quality management, performance data management, and business intelligence management. The final phase in the Lifecycle Performance Framework is the reporting phase. The reporting phase is like the show and tell of the performance management initiative. Now, this is where the performance management team analyzes its findings and communicates systems, organizational, and individual performance to the stakeholders. The reporting phase is the final phase in the Lifecycle Performance Framework, but in many cases, it's the first phase of decision-making processes. This section covers the performance reporting process, business intelligence tools, performance improvement strategies, SLAs, dashboards and scorecards, and customer satisfaction. The best practices associated with this phase are project performance management, scorecard dashboard development, customer satisfaction management, and service level tracking management. Now, here's a brief illustration at how Lifecycle Performance Management best practices fit into the Lifecycle Performance Framework. The best practices roadmap and the Lifecycle Performance methodologies and templates, which are also built off of the Lifecycle Performance Framework. Well, I hope you found this seminar to be informative. Hopefully you know a little bit more about the Lifecycle Performance Framework, you understand its phases, and you understand that it includes the processes necessary to ensure a successful performance initiative. Please join some of our other performance seminars so you can get a better understanding of how Lifecycle Performance Management can transform your organization to a high-performing organization. Thank you.